we're absolutely blowing up the bosses. Know if we've ever had an episode of Will It Build where we kill the bosses this quickly. I mean, look at this. Welcome to Will It Build, the series where I take your builds from my YouTube comments and Discord server and put them to the test to see if they are the real deal. If it's solid, then I'll gift you 1,000 silver. And if it's really something special, you'll be featured in a dedicated build video for your submitted build. So comment yours below so we can answer the question, Will It Build? Welcome to your favorite build series on YouTube, Will It Build. In the previous episode, we explored a build that combined two subclasses into one. In the thumbnail, we included polymerization. Today, we have a build that combines three subclasses into one build. So obviously I enjoyed the previous one very, very much, so I'm really excited to see how this one turns out. Before we get started, I want to talk about the giveaway for today's video. As far as the giveaway goes, we are going to be giving away 3 Star Splash emblem codes. The way we'll be giving them away, though, is going to be a little bit different than the way we traditionally do giveaways in the Will It Build videos. So stay tuned throughout this episode. I'll explain a little bit more about that down the line. The second thing I want to mention is that one of the homies in my community, Grim, sent me these bad boys to my PO box. But I just want to show these off. I'm a huge Crocs fan and I'm a huge Cars fan. So, oh, by the way, they light up, not to brag or anything like that. Getting to the build from Zarcel, the Strand Arc Void Lock. We are starting with a Warlock class, Arc subclass, Chaos Reach on the Arc Super, and Healing Rift, Chain Lightning, and Flashbang for our abilities. So I've already kind of got a little bit of that equipped right now. We've got the Healing Rift and the Chaos Reach. Worth noting as well that Chain Lightning is going to be able to jolt targets, and while amplified, it'll create an additional set of chains. And our Flashbang Grenade is going to apply the Arc Blinding effect to targets. As far as aspects go, they're setting us up with Arc Soul and Electrostatic Mind. Have both of those on already, in my opinion. Definitely the two best Arc Warlock aspects. Arc Soul, when you cast your Rift, it basically turns your Rift into an Arc Soul acquisition center for you and literally any other teammate that ever walks through it. And when you're amplified, your Arc Souls are supercharged to the point where they are the same firing rate and same damage as the sentient Arc Soul that you get from Getaway Artist traditionally. So this is a very strong amped up version of the Arc Soul, which feels really, really solid. And getting amplified is really easy with this build because the other aspect, Electrostatic Mind, we're defeating targets with arc abilities or defeating jolted or blinded targets. Keep in mind, we can jolt enemies with our Chain Lightning and blind them with our Flashbang Grenade, are going to create ionic traces, and collecting an ionic trace at any time will go ahead and make us amplified. As far as fragments go, we have the sparks of Shock, Ions, Resistance, and Instinct. So I know right off the bat that Shock allows our grenades to jolt targets, which is cool because it means our grenade can blind and jolt targets at the same time. We're also going to have the Spark of Resistance, which is going to give us a little bit more damage resistance when near multiple combatants. They're also going to help with Ions, so that when defeating a jolted target, we create an ionic trace. Another way to get traces, get our abilities back more frequently. It looks like our fourth one was the Spark of Instinct, which I actually don't know which one that is off the top of my head. Here it is. While critically wounded, taking damage emits a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets. Oh, okay. We just got someone who gifted 50 subs in the middle of this Will It Build episode while we're filming over on Twitch. Trevor, what the heck? Big shout out to Trevor. I'm gonna be a little flabbergasted. I'm probably gonna have a massive smile on my face through the rest of this build setup. So, just a heads up, that's pretty cool. As far as the Spark of Instinct goes, I'm always a little hesitant to rock stuff like this where it's kind of reliant on you taking a lot of damage. It always makes me a little nervous, but as I always say, we're always going to try things out. If we feel like there's something else that could work a little bit better in that slot, then maybe we'll give it a go. As far as the rest of the build goes, for the armor, they're setting us up with Nezarec Sin, which is kind of interesting because when I think Nezarec Sin, I always think Void exotic. So it's kind of, and he did it again. Refocusing, whenever I think of Nezarec Sin, I always think Void exotic. Oh, guys. Nezarec Sin, Void damage kills increase ability energy recharge rate, which now that I'm looking at it a little more carefully, it's just void damage kills, which would apply to void weapons as well. And the increased ability energy recharge rate is not specific to void abilities. So just getting void damage kills, even with a void weapon, will theoretically increase our arc ability recharge rate as well. As far as our armor mod priority goes, on the helmet, we've got Void Siphon and Heavy Ammo Finder. So let's go ahead and swap over here and start getting these bad boys on. Void Siphon and a Heavy Ammo Finder. Boom, there we go. I'm also going to throw on a resilience mod so I can get to tier 10 resilience. On the gloves, we have firepower and void loader, so we're investing a little bit more into void. Already got firepower on, but we'll go ahead and toss on void loader. And it looks like I have enough energy for a 2-stat mod, so I'm going to start out the video without a 2-stat mod, but obviously we want to take advantage of that slot, so I'll kind of decide what we want to run there. Arc, void, and solar resistance, so we're taking one of each. So we'll go ahead and throw all 3 of those on. On the boots, we have got Arc Surge and Void Surge. Interesting. So we're going to take both of those at once. We got a Void Weapon Surge, and we'll take the Arc Weapon Surge. On the Bond, we have a Stat Mod, Bomber, Time Dilation, and Powerful Attraction. So we'll get Time Dilation, Powerful Attraction, Bomber, and there's our stat mod. On our armor stat prioritization, they're recommending we go for Resilience first, which we already have tier 10 Resilience, so that works out perfectly. They're then recommending we go towards Discipline, which I actually already have at tier 9. And actually, if I swap this Resilience Artifice mod for a Discipline one, I can still maintain my tier 10 Resilience and have tier 10 Discipline. And then for number 3, they're recommending we have Recovery. Funny enough, I already have tier 7 Recovery, so we're good to go in that regard. For artifact mods in column 1, they're recommending Piercing Sidearms, Unstoppable Hand Cannon, and Overload Pulse. So let's go ahead and get our artifact set up. Piercing Sidearms, Unstoppable Hand Cannon, Overload Pulse. So obviously not all of these are going to be necessary. For example, I don't think the Piercing Sidearms and Unstoppable Hand Cannon are going to matter particularly. For column 2, we got Blast Radius and From Whence You Came. So Blast Radius is going to give us armor charge. We get Rapid Fire Blows with rocket launchers. From Whence You Came is going to increase our ability damage taken in Scorn. For column 3, we have Torch and Wished into Being. So there we go. While your super is nearly fully charged, ability Final Blows spawn orbs of power, so we can get a little bit more Chaos Reach action going on there. On 4, we have Unraveling Orbs and Dragon Spite. So we'll go ahead, picking up an Orb of Power grants strand weapons Unraveling Orbs, and then we'll find Dragon Spite. We're breaking the combatant shield with a strand or stasis weapon, has a chance to suspend or freeze the combatant. So we'll throw that on. And then on the column 5, we have Horde Shuttle, which we saw in the last video. Actually, looks like I have to pick up something else here, so I guess I'll throw on, I don't know, we'll throw on that. Horde Shuttle, we saw in the previous video, damaging unraveled targets with a weapon occasionally spawns a Threadling, which is important because we have Unraveling Orbs here, so I'm guessing we'll have a way to make targets unraveled with a strand weapon. And then they're also recommending we go with Argent Ordnance so that we consume a stack of armor charge whenever we fire a rocket for increased rocket launcher damage. Now, what they're saying here is that one of the benefits of this build is it allows you to deal with all 3 types of champions intrinsically. You have 2 ways to deal with barriers, such as Unraveling from Unraveling Orbs artifact mod, and Radiant if you acquire it from a fire team. For Overload Stuns, you can jolt targets from the powered melee, jolt targets from your grenade thanks to the Spark of Shock. You have the Pulse Rifle artifact mod, and you have the Rocket Launchers artifact mod. They never said I was supposed to run the Rocket Launcher artifact mod, so I guess we'll make that change real quick so we have it. And then for the Unstoppable, you have the Blind from your Flashbang Grenade. So if you ever want to run a build that is able to stun all 3 champions intrinsically, the main things here are going to be the Barrier, the Unraveling from the Unraveling Orbs, all of the Overload sources, and the Unstoppable sources. This is a good build for you, and you just never have to take it off regardless of what Grandmaster Nightfall or what activity you're doing. As far as the playstyle goes, they're saying let the Arc Soul kill enemies in the foreground and use Graviton Lance on the enemies in the background. Use Scatter Signal on... Oh, wait, Scatter... Oh, I never looked at the weapons! For the weapons, they're recommending our kinetic. We go with Scatter Signal, which is the brand new Seasonal Fusion Rifle. If you want a personal recommendation on what to craft on it, this is my God-rolled Scatter Signal. Overflow and Controlled Burst just feel incredible on this, so if you want to craft this, go ahead and take a screenshot. The energy slot, we are going with Graviton Lance. That's going to play into that Void Weapon Power Fantasy for that Nezarec Sin. We got the Void Siphon, we got the Void Loader, all of that jazz. And for the power slot, they're recommending the Apex Predator Rocket Launcher. Same thing, craftable weapon. If you want the perfect 100% God-roll crafted version of this, this is what I recommend. Enhanced Reconstruction, Enhanced Bait and Switch. The only possible interaction that I can think of that would exist in my brain is that maybe it would increase the damage of Arc Soul. That's the only possible thing I could think of. I highly doubt it because I'm 99% sure Arc Soul is coded as an ability, but we're going to test it out just to be thorough. I'd imagine we're going to end up swapping this to something else pretty early on because I'm pretty sure this isn't going to do anything. Okay, as we're flying in, I just want to recap briefly. So they said this was a Strand Arc Void lock. Obviously, the Arc is self-explanatory. We're on an Arc subclass. The Strand makes sense to me because we have unraveling rounds through unraveling orbs in our scatter signal, and we have Dragon's Bite so that when we break combatant shield with a Strand weapon, we suspend them. Obviously, we have a Strand weapon and scatter signal, but I'm not 100% sure where the Void aspect is coming from. Is it just because we're getting void kills through Nezarec Sin, and it's like this is kind of the void aspect of the subclass, and it's like, you know, we got the Graviton Lance, it's very voidy, we got the primarily void-based exotic armor piece. The very first thing I want to do is figure out what is the purpose of this Arc Weapon Surge. Is it because it actually buffs Arc Soul damage somehow, or is it just a misunderstanding? So right now we're doing about 2,480 damage, and we're still getting 2480 despite having a stack of armor charge, which is of course going to be fueling our theoretical Arc Weapon Surge right now. Swap that Arc Weapon Surge, we're going to get that over to a Void Weapon Surge, hopefully before we die. Oh, no way. So now with the double Void Weapon Surge, we are now getting a 17% Void Weapon damage buff whenever we are armor charged, as opposed to a 10%. Good to know. So we're going to pick away at these guys a little more. And I'm going to try and throw my abilities a little bit more, because the entire point of this, remember, is to get Void weapon kills to proc Abyssal Extractors. That is going to be the perk that we get from Nezarec Sin, and that's going to juice up our abilities really quickly whenever we get killed. So we're going to beam that guy, still have our Ephemeral Virus up, kill a couple of these guys. That should get our abilities recharging really quickly, and then we can probably run up and jolt this guy, get the Healing Rift down, get the Arc Soul. Fun fact with Amplified, if you're sprinting and you have the speed booster buff, as you can see on the left side of my screen, even when Amplified goes away, as long as you don't stop sprinting, you won't lose speed booster even after you map these guys from far away. Ooh, Graviton Lance is doing some saucy little damage, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's start out. I want to run in here. I'm gonna jolt these fellas. Oh, we got Chain Lightning go. And we're going to get a flashbang grenade on this guy. Let's pull out the scatter signal. We can get up close with him and burst him down. Pretty much nukes him from that close range, and he can't really do anything to fight back because he's got the arc blind effect on him. And we actually almost have our flashbang grenade back as well. So now that he's rushing us, beam him, and then we have our flashbang grenade back, so we can flash this dude, and he can't touch us at all. So let's get our Rift down, get our Arc Soul going, and then my teammates can actually come over to me and acquire Arc Soul from this Rift as well. And then we're going to try and proc Bait and Switch on our rocket, so we'll hit him with all three of our weapons real fast. Wow. Okay, can't see what's going on too much. All I know is that this guy is taking a lot of damage. And we're going to throw the grenade out because it'll jolt the boss, so we'll get a little bit of extra damage on him. And then we can also melee him to jolt him again. We're just gonna keep a view. That guy got eviscerated. I mean, he probably died in like, what, 30 seconds, if that? So now that we're in this intermission section, probably a good time to talk about that giveaway earlier I had mentioned for the 3 Star Splash emblem codes. The Star Splash emblem codes were given to me to promote a Bungie charity drive event called Game to Give. One of the main things Bungie does with this charity drive is they use the funds raised from it to support their iPads for Kids program, which is where they basically accrue a bunch of charity funds to purchase iPads for children in children's hospitals to make their tenure in the children's hospitals a little bit more enjoyable. So the way I'm going to be giving away these Star Splash emblem codes is I'm going to be selecting 3 random individuals that donate a minimum of $25 to my Game to Give charity page, which is linked down below in the description. Typically, like I said, I like to make all of these Giveaways 100% completely free to enter. However, Bungie gave me these emblem codes to give away in accordance with the charity event. For this particular situation, it seems proper, in my opinion, to raffle them off. So once again, link in the description down below. $25 donation, that'll enter you in. And, you know, thanks for doing something good. Okay, let's start off with our little flashbang grenade. Blind everything. Let's get our jolting melee to jolt everything. And blast these guys. Nice. Oh, probably get my rift down as well, right? To get my arc soul active. My teammates can stand in my rift also to get the arc soul. Throw another flashbang grenade. I'm noticing that my abilities are up pretty much 24/7. And none of the enemies can shoot at me because they're all blinded from my flashbang grenade. So that lasts a really long... Whoa! Line lasts from the flashbang grenade, but it feels like it lasts for a ridiculously long time. I'm also noticing that in terms of ad clear, this is feeling really, really strong because obviously when we kill anything with Graviton Lance, it blows everything up in a big void explosion. It's kind of like a domino effect chain reaction situation as well. So really easy to absolutely wipe out packs of ads really, really quickly. So let's try and do that. Let's throw our grenade over there. I'm gonna try and avoid killing these enemies. Nope, he died. Okay, so here's our test subject. And we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and oh, my teammate nuked him. So let's get our grenade. Oh, well, that's the glass collector, so I actually probably do want to kill him pretty quickly. It looks like blinding him doesn't even do anything anyway. He just keeps running. So we're going to pick up all these goodies. Okay, this is the perfect room to test out the duration of our flashbang grenade. So we're going to do it right here, right now. Got a little wizard roaming around. Let's clear out some of these enemies so they're not bugging us. So we have a very clear picture of how low. Okay. Okay, this one looks like a good test subject. So we're going to throw that. Boom, blinded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so about 10 full seconds is how long that flashbang grenade will blind an enemy for, which is pretty ridiculous. That is a very long time in Destiny to have an enemy completely shut down and disabled. So we're going to try and nail this wizard. Just barely killed it in time. And there we go. And let's get our good old bait and switch off with our rocket. And then we'll burst with our scattered signal. That controlled burst perk on the scatter signal, just, oh my, like, it's crazy how quickly we're burning this boss. And then when I have ads spawn on me, just follow the Graviton Lance, give them a few shots, and the explosions, the chain reaction void explosions whenever I kill enemies, is going to make it so that pretty much every single thing dies that's near me. Got my Chaos Reach back already, and that ogre boss is dead. I don't know, I didn't think of this before. Does Nezarec Sin also increase the ability regeneration rate of your super ability? While Abyssal Extractor is active, 300% additional base grenade and melee regeneration rate and 200% additional base class and super, which is really, really cool because originally when I was putting this build together, I was thinking that this is kind of a worse version of using Fallen Sunstar. I also want to pull up our armor mods real quick because at the beginning of the build, I had mentioned that we had room for a 2-stat energy mod here in the gloves, and I wanted to put something in there after we had used the build for a little bit. I'm leaning towards impact induction so that when we hit enemies with our powered melee, we reduce our grenade cooldown because I feel like the flashbang grenade is so integral. So I think I'll go impact induction so I can have my flashbang grenade up a little bit more. It's honestly a significantly more powerful grenade than I kind of realized. Tech, thanks for the 100 bits. Watch the spikes. If you guys distract me with a gift bomb in the middle of the next spike section, we are going to have words. Don't do it. I know we are goofing around a little bit in the beginning of the episode. I'm not having it right now. Yo, behave. Okay, we're going to nuke these enemies. Back to the episode. Get a little scatter signal going on. Ooh, we have a lot of arc shields on these harpies, which normally would be a problem. However, boop, arc soul. Gonna say goodbye to all those arc shields. Oh, I hear the wyverns. Wait a minute, it's a mini boss wyvern. Flashbang grenade. What's the matter? What's the matter, Wyvern? Not today. Kill these harpies. Get out of here. Okay, let's try and get our super back really, really quickly with the abyssal extractors. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on my super bar to see how quickly it charges, to be honest. And that harpy just conveniently teleported away. That's cool. Love that for me. Oh my god. I'm already at halfway back to my super. And, oh, dude. What is going on with my super energy? I mean, yeah, I picked up a couple of orbs of power from the Well of Radiance, but like, okay, first things first. Let's try and absolutely map this ogre. We're gonna throw our flashbang grenade to jolt him, and then we'll nuke him. Whoa! Okay. Never mind. I guess we don't really have to worry about... Okay. That was... Oh, look at all these enemies. They're all gonna... And, yeah, I'm back to 2/3 super. Okay, let's, go. Did I just whiff my chain lightning melee ability and it took it away from me even though it didn't actually use it? I gotta keep an eye on that. I get my super back really, really quickly when I shoot the Wyvern shield with the Minotaur heads. So I think I'm okay to use my Chaos Reach to kill the Minotaurs because I am going to get it back pretty quickly when I shoot this guy. I'm honestly impressed by the damage of Graviton Lance and the higher waves. I thought it was going to suffer a little bit in the damage department once we got into waves 3 and 4, but I'm pretty satisfied with the performance of it right now. Let's get our bait and switch rockets going. Jolt the boss. 1, 2 rockets. Get the scatter signal going. Like, the damage is crazy. We're absolutely blowing up the bosses. I don't know if we've ever had an episode of Will of Build where we killed the bosses this quickly. I mean, look at this. Like, are you kidding me? Where'd the boss go? Get 2 rockets on him. Let's get the Chaos Reach. Oh, look at that snap. Oh, I'm in a rough spot. I've amplified though, so I'm a little extra speedy. Can get away from the boss. Maybe I'll go in. I think I'll go in for the jolting melee with my chain lightning. Might be it was a bad idea. Sometimes you have to push the limits on what you should or should not do to know what you should or should not do. Yep, so here we are in wave 4, and we're still blasting everything just as quickly as we were in wave 1 for the most part. I mean, obviously these are thralls, they die pretty quickly, but even those orange bar acolytes, I mean, they got cooked pretty fast. Get a flashbang grenade on our little friend over there, jolt this acolyte, get our abyssal extractors going. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe how good the damage of Graviton Lance is feeling. Like, I'm actually stunned. And my favorite part about it, too, is, like, if you see a pack of small red bar enemies, which, honestly, usually red bar enemies do travel in packs, I mean, it blows them all up instantly. All you gotta do is kill one of them, and they all explode each other. Like, you got a bunch of enemies up here. If I just kill one of them, boom, it'll blow up, and everything else kind of follows suit. It's that cosmology, I believe it's called. Let's get this rift down. And I see a tanky mini-boss enemy. That's perfect for a flashbang grenade. Hey, now you don't get to do anything. What's up? See ya! Let's get the cosmology going. Uh-oh. Some enemies behind me, it would seem. And the jolt from the melee feels awesome too, because once you're close on enemies, just burn them all. Let's get the rift down. That'll proc bomber for us so that we can get our grenade back a little bit more quickly and blind this guy. Not that it really matters, because he died in 2 seconds. I gotta admit. The Lairs intruders are not doing a very good job of intruding, because we're kind of killing them in 2 seconds. They're more like the Lairs visitors. Very temporary visitors. Let's get the flashbang grenade over there. So now these enemies can't even shoot at us because they're all blinded. Which is very cool for us. Let's get the rift down. Ooh, that looks like a good pack of enemies to beam with Chaos Reach. And then we'll beam that guy, and then we'll beam these wizards. And then the flashbang grenade will not work on this enemy because it is a boss tier enemy. However, it will still jolt the enemy thanks to the spark of shock that we got going on, which will make it so we do a little bit of extra damage to him. He gets dispatched pretty quickly, as you can see. Final boss. I think this is literally it. Start out with our little flashbang grenade. This wizard cannot do anything to us now. We'll drop Chaos Reach on her. I will say the one place this build falls slightly short is that Chaos Reach, if you're not using GMX stabilizers, is it doesn't hang quite as well as some other supers. That's not to say it's bad, it just doesn't really feel like it's at its full potential. It feels like it ends a little too early. But you know, it's not the end of the world. It's still a very, very solid build. It's just you know, one slight call out kind of blasting us. But with Amplified, we're just too fast for the wizard to really be able to do anything to us. We're just in and out before she can even target. And then when we want to come back in here and kill the wizard, just go ahead and throw our flashbang grenade. Wizard is blinded, can't even touch us. And yeah, kind of got smoked. And then for this next wizard, our flashbang grenade is back up. So it's more of the same, and yeah, kind of playing with our food now. Pop. Get some more ability energy. Right there, we have 10 seconds of Abyssal Extractors, which it feels really, really good with this build because with Graviton Lance, if you're shooting at a pack of red bar enemies, like we said previously, it feels really solid because you just have to kill one, and then the Cosmology Void Explosions blow up and kill every single thing in the pack. So all you have to do is kill one red bar enemy, and if it explodes and kills all of its other friends in the pack of 4, that's instantly like 10 seconds of Abyssal Extractors as opposed to just 2.5 seconds like you would get from one kill. Because those Cosmology Orbs still count towards Abyssal Extractors. Remember, it's not void ability kills or necessarily even just void weapon kills. It's just void kills, period. So if you damage and kill an enemy with a void weapon source, you get Abyssal Extractors. As simple as that. Now we have this enemy here, just flashbanged him because he has a mini boss tier enemy, so that'll make it very easy to put him in the ground. We can then come back over here, get in the Well of Radiance, and start chipping away at this boss, who's being a little shy. We'll try and get our bait and switch going, get some rockets on him. And we have Unraveling Rounds because we picked up an Orb of Power. And I'm going to try and get over to my teammates and get this rift down to give them Arc Souls. I was not able to. I kind of had to place it early to get the healing so I wouldn't die. And now we're going to pop right back over here. And I got frozen by the boss. I'm going to try and get a Chaos Reach off to get a nice chunk of damage on him. So yeah, like I said, Chaos Reach doesn't last too long with this build. Not horrible, but at the same time, wouldn't classify it as great either. So kind of a middle of the pack feeling super for this particular instance. Only once you get in this high level content. In you know, the other waves, the second wave and the third wave, obviously the first wave felt perfectly fine. So I would say just maybe when you're taking this into Grandmasters, Chaos Rage is not going to feel as potent as maybe it would in some other pieces of content. But then again, isn't that everything, I suppose? Ahead and get some more rockets on this dude. We'll throw that grenade so we jolt him. We'll get the rift down so we get our Arc Souls for a little bit of extra damage. Shoot with all 3 weapons to get bait and switch procs, and then we'll pull out Scatter Signal, which is amazing for boss damage. And that's about it. I mean, we got through that entire Coil run, tier 4, in about 37 minutes, so super fast. Will it build? Absolutely, yes. Zarcel, that was an absolutely amazing submission. I'll be reaching out to give you your 1,000 silver. Once again, if you want your build reviewed in one of these videos, please make sure to join our Discord server linked in the description down below. $25 donation to the Game to Give Bungie charity drive through my page linked in the description will enter you in to potentially win one of those Star Splash emblem codes. So thank you so much for those of you who decide to do that and support a good cause. Thank you so much for watching this Will It Build video as well. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. As always, have a great day.